Now that you've learned all about unsafe people and how to recognize them, it's equally important to know how to identify safe people. Safe relationships bring you closer to God, closer to others, and closer to being the person God created you to be. Dr. Cloud lists some descriptions of what safe people are and shares 3 aspects of safe relationships that you should look for, modeled after the ultimate safe person, Jesus.
Hey guys, welcome to chapter 9 of Safe People, and this one is positive, right? What are safe people? You know, we talked a lot about unsafe people, and now we've been getting into a little bit the positive side of this and getting better, and we've got to have a map. So what is it that we're looking for? You know, when I was in college, I had a job as a bank teller. And that didn't last long because you know what I did? I got fired actually because one day what I did was I wrapped a stack of $50 bills with a ones wrapper, and some lady came in and I gave her change, which I thought was $50. Well, it was 50 times 50 and it wasn't $50. And so they pretty much decided that I would do better in the stockroom than being a bank teller. But I was a teller for quite a while. And here's what I learned. When you're a bank teller, you know what's really important? It's really important for you to be able to spot counterfeit money. So you know what they do to train you? They don't put you in a room with a lot of counterfeit money, all the counterfeit money in the world around you. Here, look at, see how they fake this? See how they fake this? No, you know what they do? They lock you in a room with real money. And you feel real money, and you look at real money, and you get so good at seeing what's real that the counterfeit stands out. Now, here's the deal about safe people. Both to find the real money, to find the good food, as well as to be able to know what's counterfeit, we got to know what the real stuff is. So what are you looking for? And this is starting the discernment of knowing what to look for in business deals and in personal relationships and in church and in other settings, healing settings, and all the other ways that you're going to go or places you're going to go to in life. What are we looking for? Okay, so let's start out with the definition. What is a safe person? What is a safe person? Here's our definition. A safe person is a person that as a fruit of your relationship with this person, you get closer to God. You get closer to God. Now, this may mean in like a big overt way that, you know, they're teaching you about God or showing you about God or leading you closer to God overtly, but it may also be in smaller ways that just their example causes you to be more open and trusting of God, or more, they're serving as a bridge to you in different ways. You know, everybody's on a continuum somewhere. But the point is, a safe person in some way is going to push us more towards truth and light and a relationship with God, and cause us to not lose trust in Him, but to begin to have more trust, even in indirect ways. They have a good spiritual result in our lives. Number 2, a safe person is someone that as a result of being with that person, I get closer to others besides that person. Easiest example of this, you have a kid and a little baby, and they become a kid, and they grow up with good, safe parents, and they're close to their parents. What do? As a result of that relationship, they become more relational, and they go develop a lifetime of friends because they learned that people are good and people are safe. And so a good, safe person is not somebody that hurts me so bad that I shy away from relationship with other people because of how I got hurt in that one. Nor is it one that, because I'm close to them, they engulf me, right, and kind of kidnap you from all the other relationships in the world. In fact, they want to share you, right? Good relationships have freedom in them. And you have a friendship, and that friend doesn't get jealous when you have other friends. But because of that friendship, you become more trusting, more relational, and you're just growing as a relational person. That relationship heals your trust muscle. It heals your skills. You learn how to do better in relationships because of this person. Okay? And then the third one is you become closer to being the you that God created you to be. See, in unsafe relationships, we can't really be ourselves, right? And you have to kind of adapt to them in some way. And pretty soon, sometimes you just sort of lose yourself. Well, in a safe relationship, it's going to do the opposite. You're going to find and discover more parts of you and become more of who you are. That's what happens. All right? So, closer to God, there's a spiritual effect in relation to God. Closer to others, there's a relational effect just in people. I become more relational as a result of my relationship with this person. And closer to being who I'm supposed to be. Okay? Who God created me to be and who God created you to be. All right, so how does this happen? Well, what do these safe people look like? Well, what we're going to do now is I'm just going to give you some traits, and then I'm going to give you 3 big categories. So let's look at some of these traits. Number 1 is, actually, these are going to concur with research and all the scientific findings. But this particular, if you look at this list, I'm going to draw a little bit from the list in the book. You know where we got these? We interviewed a gazillion people. We're not talking, what do you think a good relationship? What are people like that have this effect in your life? Here's what people told us. Well, they accept me like I am. They accept me just like I am. I mean, it's okay to be me. They love me like I am. Even when I screw up, they still love me. They develop my relationship abilities. They help me to, communicate better, or to be more direct, or to be more courageous in relationships, or to stick around. They create love and push me towards good works. The Bible has a verse that says, spur each other towards good works, motivate each other towards good works. And that's what good relationships do. They said they make me go do better things and do better. Safe people cause me to grow. They have a growth effect, that I'm getting better and taking risk and opening up and trying new things and just getting better as a result. They cause me to be myself more as opposed to being somebody else. They cause the outside and the inside to come together. Isn't that a great one? An integrating relationship causes your inside, what you feel on the inside and who you are on the inside, begins to show on the outside, and who you are on the outside is who you really are on the inside, instead of being two people. They said that safe people help them to not be selfish. In other words, they call them on it. They push them to be mutual and make sacrifices and not be so self-centered, realize that other people are important. They said that safe people help them become the person that God sees them as. I've seen so many people, like, they grow up and they think they're bad, or they think they're stupid or not worth loving, but God sees them as having high value and worth loving and gifted, and He gave them gifts. And other people's eyes become God's eyes to see you and these parts of yourself that you can't see because somebody taught you to look at yourself differently than that. And then the next one is somebody just touches your life and your life is better because of it. That there's actual fruit. 1 Peter 4 says that when we love each other, we're administering the grace of God to each other. When we use our gifts with each other, we're administering the grace of God in its various forms. If you don't know you grew up, didn't know how to do finances, and somebody's good at finances, and they sit down with you and help you to grow, to do a budget and save money and make an investment or two, do you know that they are administering the various forms of God's grace to you, and your life is better because of what that person built into you? It could be a mentor, a coach, it could be a healer, but a safe person, there's fruit in relationships from safe people. And then the next one, they help you become more like Jesus, a person that was God, but we're created in His image, And as he lived out as a human, that we're supposed to become like him in being loving and forgiving and patient and using talents and having a mission and being, about doing good and healing and all that kind of stuff. That our character grows because of as a result of a person that does that or people that do that. Okay? So, pretty good list. Now, let me give you the three big categories. The three big categories of what a safe person is. Basically, what the three big categories are is the first one is dwelling. Dwelling. Now, what is dwelling? Well, the Bible has this big theme in it about God's presence, and he dwells with us. Emmanuel, God with us. It said he came and he dwelt with us, abiding. So the first thing about a safe person is that there is a dwelling, that they show up and they're present. Not only are they physically present, but when their body's there, their emotions there. That's somebody that you can actually be with and hang with, and you don't have that feeling of, when I'm with them, I'm alone. Okay, so there's a presence, an emotional presence, and safe people, that you're connected. And when you have moments of connection, what happens to time? It goes away, right? It becomes timeless. And when you're with safe people, you lose track of the clock. Because when you're connected and dwelling, guess what? You've stepped out of time into eternity. That's when the clock goes away. Think about your best relationships. The clock just goes away, right? Because you're living in eternity. So can they be present? Somebody's going to be present and engaged and connected for that to happen. And then the second one is that they are a person of grace. Now, what is grace? Grace is basically two words: unmerited favor. Now, grace certainly means that they're gracious and they accept you and, they forgive you and accept you just like you are. But it's actually more than that. Ultimately, favor, unmerited favor. You know what this means? Kind of like almost more than anything. It means a basic sense of they're for you instead of against you. Unmerited favor means nothing that you're earning from me, but I'm going to favor. I'm going to show you favor. I'm going to be for you. I'm going to be committed to you. Basically, my intent towards you is one of good and not ill. And it accepts you. It forgives you. It comes alongside you. But more than that, grace helps us. It empowers us. So grace is when we're having to get from here to here and we can't make it. Grace steps in and gives us what we need that we can't produce on our own to meet the standard. And so safe people are really people that we get, built in from, that, they build in things to us. We get things from. And so a safe person is really going to give me, and here's the bottom line, unmerited favor. A safe person gives me what I cannot provide for myself. That's grace. God gives us what we can't earn, what we can't provide, what we don't bring to the table. When we don't have courage and somebody encourages us, that's grace. They're giving us what we can't provide. They're giving us skills. They're giving us healing. They're giving us acceptance. They're giving us support. And it doesn't come from you. They just want to do that because it's unmerited favor. And then the last one is, they not only give us grace, but they give us truth. And they're a person of truth. Now, this is more than honesty, right? Certainly, honesty is truth 101. But a 5-year-old knows the difference between lying and telling the truth. 5-year-olds are not ready for a mature relationship, but that's foundational. So we're going to say, that's permission to play, is you don't want liars, to be your safe people. They're just not. But past lying, what we're talking about here are people that have an active truth, that they're seeking reality. They're people that want to know the real story about life and about you and about them. And they're always learning. And they're also giving you truth in that they're honest enough to give you feedback. They're honest enough to hold you to the truth. They're honest enough to hold you accountable. They're honest enough to give you discipline. They're honest enough to help you structure your life around principles and around the ways of God. See, people of truth are people that bring in the ways that life works. They give us standards. They structure us. They hold us accountable. They discipline us. They teach us. They basically help get us closer to reality. Okay? So think about those. Somebody that shows up and is there emotionally and physically. Somebody that's for you and gives you unmerited favor. And somebody that's going to bring truth and structure in God's ways and hold you to them. Okay? You get those three things, wow, that's going to be good fruit. Okay? So let's take a couple of questions about this to go work on. The first one is I want you to go back and name some people in these categories. Some people are stronger in one category than another, but name some ways in which your life has been enhanced by somebody in these categories. The second one is, as you look at dwelling in grace and truth, name somebody that you have seen in those three categories. Now, why are we doing the naming thing? Remember the counterfeit money? I want you to remember what it looked like and felt like to be with the real thing. And I want you to begin to think about, gosh, okay, now I know what I'm looking for. Say you're single. In your dating life, you're actually looking for somebody that's able to connect with you and show up and be honest and responsible and be for you, just like one of your best friends is, except it's a different dynamic. See, you got to know what this looks like. I want you to be able to go back and to look at that in those three categories. And then the third thing is, where do I need to find one or more of these, and what are some steps I can take in the structures? Do I need a group? Do I need a coach? Do I need a mentor? Do I need a therapist? Do I need to be more active? Do I need to be more social? What do I need to do to go and increase these? And also, as I'm doing that, which ones do I need to avoid? What's out there that I need to do a better job at avoiding? Okay? So do all that, and then we'll see you next time.